your mark.
They're away to the 2019 Gold Coast Marathon.
Doesn't get much better than this.
He's done it. He knows he's there. He hits the famous blue carpet here at the finish line.
Ladies and gentlemen, look at him go.
Jingaree, hello and welcome to day one of the 42nd Village Roadshow Theme Parks Gold Coast Marathon, a day where we focus on the ASICS Half Marathon. And as we begin today's coverage, I'd like to pay respect and acknowledge the Kumbameri people of the Yugambeh language region, the saltwater people of the area we now know as the Gold Coast, as the traditional owners of the lands and waters upon which we bring you this event today and bring you this broadcast. My name's Dave Robertson and it's my pleasure to introduce one of Australia's greatest distance runners, four-time Olympian. She was the World Cross Country Champion in 2004 and current record holder in the marathon, Benita Willis.
Thanks.
We finally made it. Welcome back to a Gold Coast Marathon weekend.
Thanks, Robbo. Yeah, it's just so great to be here. Yeah.
A couple of years where we've had to wait and runners have had to, look to the future, but we're finally here, and whatever happens today, it's going to be great, and it's going to be a big weekend, I know.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and yeah, I just can't wait for it to get started.
And it's going to get started really soon. We've got our first event of the morning. It's a rejigged schedule, I guess, this year. We've brought the half marathon a little bit earlier for you, so and it's great to be able to bring you the live stream of that this morning. But don't worry, we've got tomorrow the marathon as well, so make sure you tune in bright and early tomorrow from 6 o'clock also. But yeah, it's going to be a great event, this half marathon. It's not the main event up here, but it really does impress with the fields and the performances that we see.
Oh, I'm just so excited to see some of these athletes that are about to head off to Birmingham for the Commonwealth Games, for the marathon, race over the half marathon here today, and just see what shape they're in. And it's a great tune-up event for that Commonwealth Games. And there's some really good talent here in Queensland as well, and some up-and-comers as well running today. So yeah, very exciting to see.
Speaking of Queenslanders, here's a proud Queenslander. We're going to have a look at what's happening down on the course, and we've got our very own ambassador of the event, Pat Carroll, out there on course. We might be able to find him, pick up where he is very shortly. Let's see you, Pat.
Yeah, hi, Pat Carroll here down at the start line of the ASICS Half Marathon. Just amazing to see so many people here fired up to have a go at 21.1 kilometres this morning. I'm running as the 150 pacer. I've let myself go a little bit, so I've dropped from 140 to 150. But conditions-wise, I'm standing here in a singlet. I could almost maybe put on a jacket, so it's a little bit cool. There is a little bit of a breeze around, so they're going to have a tailwind behind them all the way up to Runaway Bay. A little bit blustery on the way home, but certainly, I'm looking at the promo flags and whatever, and they're certainly not going crazy. I mean, it's a little bit of a breeze around, but nothing significant. So, one thing I'm a little bit concerned about is my Australian all-comers record, 61.11, and if it's going to go up today, so we'll find out soon. Got some class runners in there. Brett Robinson is in there having a good crack. Joel Tobin White, Liam Adams, who's going off to Birmingham. And the women there, Jess Trengrove in the ladies. Jess is hoping to run under 70 minutes for the first time. So great scenes down here at the start of the ASICS Half Marathon. Can't wait for a festival of running this weekend. Great to be involved in the Gold Coast Marathon.
How good. Thanks so much, Pat, and what a treat to see Pat down there. He's jumping out of his skin. First question, do you think you'll be all right for the 1 hour 50 duties today, Benita?
Oh, I hope so. Look, he reckons he's dropped a bit of shape, but yeah, look, he should be right for that.
I just had a quick look. In 1987, when he won the ASICS Half Marathon, what did he run? 1:02:51. And as he said there, and he'll mention at a few events around the country, his all-comers record, 61.11, still stands. It'd be great to see that go today in that men's race.
Yeah, and look, that's stood for such a long time. So yeah, we'd love to see fast times today.
Well, we might have a bit of a look at a preview of the field, and we'll start with the men's race. And one fella who's been comfortably under that mark internationally, Brett Robinson, and we'll get him up in a sec. But Brett Robinson, 31 years old, he's achieved a lot in the sport. He's found a home in the marathon these days, but here he is in the half marathon, 59.57, that run in Maragami a couple of years ago. Sensational.
Oh, absolutely sensational. And he's run 27.51 this year over 10K, which shows that he's in really good shape for this half marathon today, and he'll be out there really, really going hard.
Yep, no, great to see how Robbo is faring. And then Liam Adams, as we see here, and he's been around for 4 decades, it seems, Liam, but he just keeps getting better and better, and as we see a great performance from him just recently.
Oh yeah, I mean PB in Launceston over the half, so he was very close to Brett in that race. Brett won the race, but they were very closely number 1 and 2. So yeah, Liam's running really well and in really good shape for that Com Games marathon.
That's right, and he's performed well in that arena as well, so we wish Liam all the best. And joining him in that green and gold singlet, Andy Buchanan, a debutant for the Aussie team, and the 31-year-old from Bendigo. He runs for the Bendigo Bats, and his PB 102.50, I reckon he's in some sort of shape to try and slice some seconds and maybe minutes off that today.
Yeah, I think he was saying yesterday he was looking forward to running a PB today, and just so excited to be on his first Commonwealth Games marathon team as well. And it was great to see him yesterday, and yeah, he's an up-and-comer and one for sure that's going to be around for ages.
I reckon there's a minute he'll wipe off that time just on the excitement of being named on that team alone. It's really, really, really exciting. So for Andy Buchanan, and then Ed Goddard, youngster from New South Wales. Now he stepped up to the marathon as well, 24 years old, but his PB at Launceston there as well, 62.16. So he's a chance.
He's a chance too. Look, it's going to be very close up front, which is what we want to see in these sort of races, and that'll bring the fastest times as well.
So look forward to seeing Ed Goddard. You imagine that these fellas will all be in that lead pack for a lot of the race. Tim Vincent, Queenslander, 101.43, his PB this year over in Rome, 23-year-old. Just one of many of this new upcoming crop of talent coming through.
Oh, Tim Vincent is fantastic, coached by Jackson Elliott here in Queensland on the Gold Coast. So he's a local talent to really watch out for, and he's coming through the ranks as well.
Yep, no, excellent. So there's a good mix of runners in the men's race in the ASICS half marathon this morning, and we'll see that the course record, the race record 101.16 set in 1992. I think it's the oldest standing record at the Gold Coast Marathon event, so maybe about time for that one to be bettered. And Pat Carroll's Aussie soil record 61.11. But let's have a look at the women's field here now. Benita and Eloise Wellings, what a hero.
She is an absolute hero, a really good friend of mine, and I just can't wait to see her race today. Great marathon PB earlier this year in Japan, and going off to the Commonwealth Games as well in Birmingham for the marathon. And yeah, I can't wait to see her race.
Her 5th Games.
Yeah,
her fifth Commonwealth Games. She raced it in Melbourne 2006, and then she's been to every one.
Yeah, oh look, that's just absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see her run.
Jess Stenson, formerly Trengove, and she's up here 1:10.59, as we heard Pat Carroll say. She's looking at trying to get under that 70-minute mark for the first time, and you'd think she's a chance too.
Yeah, she's come here to run fast today, and you know it's going to fit her preparation really well for Birmingham for a fast hit out. So she's ready. She's ready to go hard from the gun. So watch these girls up front.
Hungry for the win too, Jess. I don't think she's had a few seconds and thirds and fourths, but hasn't quite got that top step yet.
Yeah, she just hasn't crossed that finish line first, but she's been here so many times, so she's so familiar with this event.
So we look forward to seeing Jess. And then Hannah Miller from New Zealand, 1:12.41, her PB from Houston this year as well, 24-year-old. So it's good to see an international challenges in the field as well to push our Aussie girls. Yeah,
look, and she's only 24. She's so young compared to some of these other girls. So, this is all a stepping stone for these sort of athletes and getting that experience internationally as well. So look forward to seeing her run. Yeah, it should be a good race, and we're looking forward to seeing how it unfolds. Local Queenslander, Rini Ringi here, 1:14.47, her PB from last year up at Yeppoon. And she's going well too. It's great to see this next, you'll have to say, it's probably not quite to that class of Elsie and Jess, but there's going to be some good runs through the back here. Oh, and it's great to see some local talent here in the field. And yeah, Rini's running really well, so it'd be great to see her sort of progress through. Yeah, and then Murphy Rankin here, also from Queensland, and she set her PB this year up at the Noosa Half Marathon. So there'll be a big pack there, and there'll be some fellas, no doubt, looking to sort of hang on to these faster women as well, to everyone try and be pulled through to the PB. It's known for good times up here at the Gold Coast. And look, here they are, runners down on the start line there. There's Liam Burdon, I think, Queenslander. Yeah. Tim Vincent. And there's Tim. As you said, the locals' knowledge. Yeah. They'll know every inch of this course. And look, we're here in the dark. It's a 6 o'clock start. It is, as Pat said, is a bit damp underfoot outside, but it looks like the rain has really sort of backed off now. And as we walked into the studio, Benita, what I noticed was just only a light wind. You can see the flags there, and that's what you really want up here. You don't want those heavy southerly conditions smashing you in the face as you're heading for home. Yeah, and look, it's a good sign to see some people with jackets on still, and it's one of those sort of days where it's cool enough that you could wear a jacket or you could even wear gloves. So we want that sort of cool weather.
We're going to have a look at the course, Benita, the famous course up here at the Gold Coast Marathon. It's the same format, even though we're a day earlier than usual. We'll have a look at the map here now, and they'll head north up towards Paradise Point on this course. It's a stunning course, and they head up here, the early 5Ks, just sort of settling them under their legs, and they take this little dog leg, as we'll see up here at about the 7K mark, and then further up towards Paradise Point. What are they thinking when they hit this halfway point here, B?
Oh, you should be sort of on the edge, but reasonably comfortable. You need a bit left for that last 10K.
Yep, and so heading back down towards the south now and taking this little left hand there and then back onto the look across to the spit there, and hopefully with a few Ks to go, you're almost home, and then that big kick home. It's a famous finish here on the blue carpet at the Gold Coast at Broadwater Parklands, and looking forward to welcoming runners across the line, not only in the pointy end of the field, but let's remember, we've got 8,000, 9,000 runners. Here's Bonza. He's back, the mascot of the Gold Coast Marathon. It's great to see Bonza. He's looking fit.
He's looking good. And look, you know, Robbo, one of my best experiences at this race was running in the back of the field with everyone else, you know, and getting through those corrals and the start lines, and,
Yep.
and really enjoying the atmosphere.
One thing that's just come to mind there, I thought Pat Carroll was Bonza, so maybe that's been disproved this morning. Who knows? Maybe it's Steve Monaghetti.
It could be Steve Mooney, although no, he's going to be running.
He's
quick
running
today.
as well.
Yeah.
So look, as we said, we're focused on the pointy, and that's where our attention will be on the broadcast this morning. But a big shout out and big cheers for everyone having a run. I know you coach runners in the field here today, and we've got friends and relatives all running. So you know, some of them doing their first one.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
Oh, and it's a long way. If it's your first half marathon, it's a long way. So it's a huge achievement to get to the finish line today. I'm so excited to see everyone cross that line.
Well, only a few minutes to go now, and we'll hear the gunfire as we can see some of the most talented and fittest individuals in the country here on the start line. And there's Eloise Wellings. She's got the cap this morning to keep the rain off the face.
Looking relaxed.
She
That's
is,
good.
isn't she?
Yep.
She's so experienced. She's got the family, I'm sure, watching on. Jono and the kids will be cheering on, and it's great to have her here.
Oh yeah, and these sort of races, they're very good preparation for a big marathon. So very good for her.
All right, we're going to throw to an ad break now. We'll be back very shortly for the start of the ASICS Half Marathon.
Training program, week 3, day 4. Training program, week 5, day 2.
Week 6, day 4.
I feel a strong connection.
It echoes in your mind.
It's like you feel the energy in return.
It pushes you forward. You sense its power.
As you exceed your limits.
For each other out there on course.
All right, welcome back, and here we are, moments away to see some congratulations, not congratulations, but some good luck.
Yeah.
Handshakes on the start line there. There's Liam Adams. He's just been wiring up a few conduits this morning.
We're now
And
closing
he's got himself
down
in the
to
tradie singlet,
1
which he's
minute to go
famous
until our
for
start
racing.
here.
Brett Robinson just to the side of
On
him
the
there, and
start
Jess,
gun today, we have our Chief
formerly
Executive
Trengo,
Officer
now
of
Stenson,
ASICS Global.
in the front
Jose
line. So it's a
Hito
who's who of Aussie
Peralta
running, and
will be
Bernita,
on
how
the gun.
exciting.
We've got
And
all the
he's
big
even gonna
names
get
on the
down
start
there
line
and
all
run
together,
as
so
well.
it is
So well
fantastic to
done
see them all there. And
to our
look,
Chief
I think they're all going to run well, so
Executive
it's just a
from
matter of who gets
We
across the
now
line
have
first
a
today.
1
Yep,
minute
exactly. All the
till
talk of the
start
weather.
time for the ASICS
Forget
Half
about
Marathon
it. This
in
is it. The rain's
2022.
gone away. We've got our best and brightest here, and we're going to get ourselves ready for the start of the ASICS Half Marathon. Pinch me. I'm so excited. Let's get things ready to
Now
roll.
call all athletes
And these
to
runners
the
are going to
start
let
line areas,
us
please.
open up the proceedings here. The Village Roadshow. Theme Parks, Gold Coast.
"20 seconds to go, ladies and gentlemen." On your mark. And they're away for the ASICS Half Marathon, ladies and gentlemen. If you're on the sidelines, let's use our voices. Clap those hands. You have your top seeds are out in front at the moment as they make their way up the hill. This is the first time we've had the hill at the start of the ASICS Half Marathon. Yoshihito, thank you so much for getting us started with the ASICS Half Marathon. Get down there and you'll be able to run yourself a PB today. Over 60% of you will run a PB. Let's see if we can up those stats. Let's get 75% home with personal best times here on the Gold Coast Half Marathon today. We're looking at conditions around 15 degrees. The water has eased up a little bit, so perfect conditions for our runners out on course today. Gold Coast, let's give them some energy. Let's make some noise. And look at the sea of athletes make their way through as we have our pacing group for 1 hour 30 just passing through the start line. A big thank you to all of our pacers who are doing a great job out there. Plenty of athletes are fundraising for charities. And how proud are we to have everyone back here on the Gold Coast. It'll take over 10.5 minutes for us to get all of our starters from our first starter right through to our final starter across the line here. So ladies and gentlemen, let's make this a party here on the Gold Coast for all of our athletes this morning. Let's clap those hands together. Let's make all of them feel like the rock stars that they are. After months of training, it's been 3 years in the making to get athletes back here on this great course on the Gold Coast. Let's see if we can raise the roof and wake everyone up on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, how good are you guys? Wow. We're looking to see our first finisher in just 1 hour's time here for the ASICS Half Marathon. And we kicked off our first starter 2 minutes ago, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the athletes go. If you're coming through, we've got plenty of cameras on you athletes, so you can wave those hands in the air, have a great time out there
lead
today.
Packs going through their early stages in the first K, and then there's the swarm of runners in behind our recreational runners, as we said. And as you heard there, 10.5 minutes, we're expecting them all to get across that start line. What a great sight it is to see running back on the Gold Coast.
Oh, look, I love seeing this, and we've missed this for the last couple of years. So it's great to see those masses cross the line. And here we are out in the front with the elite men's field. Liam Adams, he's really surging in front, isn't he? And he's running quite aggressively, leading straight away. And that's probably a sign that he's going for a fairly quick time here today.
Yeah, for sure. Ed Goddard, you can just see tucked in behind him there. Obviously a bit concerned about the brightness of the street lights here in the Gold Coast. He's got the sunglasses on and he's feeling fit and ready to go. And Brett Robinson's has kindly donned the cap so we can identify who he is there as well. But look, they're going through the dark streets of the Gold Coast at the moment, and as we see on the clock there, 3 minutes just ticking through. So that'll be them through their first K, and we'll keep an update on where we're going with the splits. We'll get definitely confirmed splits every 5Ks this morning, Benita, and we'll try our best to keep things going. And in the meantime, we'll get a look at the women's race as it unfolds as well. A bit of a fall there at the start there. That can happen on these wet condition days, I guess.
Yeah, look, I think I saw Jess Stenson go down right on the start line, so I really hope she's okay. And we haven't seen where they are yet, but hopefully we can pan back and have a look at the women and just make sure that she's okay. And she got up pretty quickly.
So this is a solid pack here of the top men here. This is about I think a field of about 10 or 11 or so in here, led, as you said, by Liam Adams, Brett Robinson there, and Ed Goddard doing the early pace making, and a pack of runners just happy to tuck in there at this stage, and they're just, not throwing any wild punches at this point, just tucking in, getting through the motions, getting a feel for the conditions, and it's great to see that we're underway here in this ASICS Half Marathon. If you're going to pick someone at this early stage, who would you go for, Benita?
Oh, look, it's so hard. I think I'm going to go for Brett Robinson.
There you go.
Yeah, very, very hard. And look, there we see Jess. So she got up obviously really well, and she's back running. And we can see Eloise just, a couple of people behind her. So they're running together now in that elite women's field and looking really relaxed. And obviously with the women, they've got a lot of men to run around there with them. So it's great because they sort of have a big pack, although it's only really the two of them there up front.
Yeah, look, that's the show of class in that women's race today, Jess and Elsie. You would think that's where the battle will be, but great to be able to bring you some footage. Although we need to squint a little bit in the dark. That's how early we are up here this morning, and that's what we want to do, is try and get the best conditions for the runners. And as we can see here, they really are great conditions. We've got the fairies in the tutus out there as well. It's great to see runners still getting across that start line, Benita.
Oh, look, and I love seeing that people dressed up and they're, running for charities and all sorts of things in this race. And that's what we want to see. We want to see people running for a reason. And you've got to do whatever drives you to run your best.
We just got a little shot there of the lead women in the pack there. But look, make sure you start the watches. Here we go. Doesn't count unless it's up on social media, up on your tracking account. But look, it's great to see runners through here. And these will be runners, some of them, they've got the option this year, Benita, we should mention, to do the 63.
Yeah.
To come back tomorrow morning and do the marathon as well. And there'll be plenty of people that have taken up that opportunity.
Yeah, look, I think there's 180 people or so. So I think that's a lot of people that are taking up that opportunity.
And I saw there's a special medal as well for doing the double.
Yeah.
So, look, this is what happens. People are cooped up for a couple of years, no Gold Coast Marathon. All of a sudden, they want to come out and do multiple events. But look, folks, make sure you follow the hashtag GCM22 and at GC Marathon on the socials this morning to keep abreast of what's happening out there on course. And I'm sure all these runners will be sharing their experiences throughout the day as well. Good to see the Indigenous Marathon singlet represented there. There's Derek and Tristan coming through. These are our new grads for 2022. And we're going to have Rob De Castella come in and join us actually before too long to obviously talk about what's happening with the project this year. But yeah, great to see them. There's some of our runners who are doing their first half marathon as we look back to our leaders in the ASICS half marathon. And Liam Adams, the running tradie as he's affectionately known, well, he's going about this in a workmanlike manner so far.
And look, I think, Robbo, this shows this race is going to be fast. I mean, we haven't seen the splits yet, but the fact that there's only 4 people broken away from the main pack shows that Liam's really pushing the pace there. You know, Brett Robinson's just tracking him, and which is, you know, a great way to stay relaxed for Brett. And he's obviously in good shape because he's gone with the pace straight away. Whereas the second pack, they're sort of, you know, not really sure if they should go that fast, so they're all sort of hanging back. But very aggressive running by Liam Adams, especially within a marathon prep as well.
Let's not forget Liam Adams, our winner of this event in 2012, just showing you an example of the span of his career and running PBs 10 years later and right up here at the pointy end in the mix for another win today. Brett Robinson, interestingly, hasn't had a win in the half marathon here at the Gold Coast, at the ASICS half marathon. Jack Rayner, who's not here today, was our winner for the last 2 years, but he was the third athlete picked for the Aussie men's team at the Com Games in the marathon, joining Liam and Andy. And as you mentioned, Jess Stenson, Eloise Wellings in the women's race, and Sinead Diver, the third athlete there as well. So, yeah, that's going to be really exciting. But for now, this is where the excitement is. Our runners streaming across here at the start line.
And look, you know, Robbo, these people have been training for months. I mean, I know the runners that I coach, most of them are in the field, at the back of the field here or in the middle of the field, and they've been preparing for this race, well, really for a couple of years. I mean, we were all ready to go last year.
Yep.
They really targeted that Village Roadshow theme parks, Gold Coast Marathon, whether it's the ASICS half marathon or any of the other races. But they've been training for a long time, so this is their opportunity to really put that to the test.
Put the icing on the cake, as it were. Now, here's our women's elite race up the front, and they've been escorted here by a number of our men's runners here as well. But in the pack there, still, we can see Eloise Wellings' white cap and Jess Stenson just a few runners, just immediately in front of her there. And so they'll have gone through the 2K mark at this point. We will bring you a split as we go through the 5K for our men and women in the lead pack. But yes, it is dark up here at the moment, so we're just working our way through the course. Sometimes running in the dark can be a good thing, Benita. It kind of, the Ks just go by without sort of noticing too much. You're not overburdening your visual stimulus, your visual sense, and you just put your head down and just tick them along as we move up to the men's race. And as you said, it is a sign that this is a quick start because they're strung out.
Yeah, that's right, Robbo. Look, Liam, he's going for it, isn't he? And this is a really early stage in the race to be really going for it. But he must back himself from a long way out to sort of stretch this race. And he's not waiting for the last 5K to try to get away from the guys.
Well, that's the 7K marker on the other side there. So let's call that 3. That's 3-ish Ks as they're going through here. So 9:20 on the clock. Look, it'll be near enough to 3-minute pace, probably even a touch under. And we'll get a good look at it in a couple more Ks. But yep, Liam Adams, our leader at the moment, from Brett Robinson, Ed Goddard there as well. So making up our breakaway group of we've got 3 or 4 in there at the moment. We may have, it's not our Japanese runner in 4th there, Yudai Nakazawa, who has a PB of 1:02.58. We'll get confirmation there, but yeah, unfortunately we've just got some clouds getting in the way of our traditional magnificent sunrise here at the Gold Coast. It will poke through, I'm sure, at some point across either today or across the weekend. But for now, yep, we're going about our work here in the pre-dawn eeriness, let's call it. But yeah, it's really exciting to see these runners working their way through the streets of the Gold Coast as we get back another look at the women's race here. So great to be able to bring you these pictures this morning and have this sort of level of coverage of both the men's and women's races. And as you can point out there, Eloise Wellings just happy to tuck in behind, 5 or 6 pacemakers, unofficial pacemakers here.
Yeah, look, and it's a great place to be. You want a lot of people sort of pacing, and I think Jess's training partner's there with her as well, just in front of her. So he's helping pace this group as well. But yeah, it's great to tuck in. When I was racing these sort of races, I really like to tuck in to pace groups and just sort of relax as much as you want to relax as much as you can in the first 10K. I mean, a half marathon, it's a tough race. It's very intense, but the more relaxed you can be in the first 10K, the faster you can go in that last half when you do that U-turn and you're running home to the finish. So these girls look relaxed, but yeah, geez, they've got a great group to run with.
Jess Stenson, as we see her there at the front there, her PB 1:10.59. You feel like that's overdue to be broken. I know she's been off. She's had her become a mother, and this is her in her second coming, I guess, and I feel like she's really hungry to take some serious time off that today.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, to run 2:25 last year at the Perth Marathon, she's really...
Solo run,
that's
in
tough.
Lockdown marathon.
Amazing. Her PB is well overdue to get smashed today.
It's great to see she's being escorted, as you said there, her training partner from the Team Tempo crew in South Australia. It's great to see them here. But yeah, Jess and Eloise, as it opens up beautifully for us. And we've got runners of all abilities and all ages and speeds here this morning. And it's great to see the inclusive nature of the Gold Coast Marathon weekend and the ASICS Half Marathon. And that'll be just giving them the head start there and now burning them off on the downhill, no doubt, which is great to see. And look, it's been a fantastic morning so far. Light sprinkling of rain, as we can see here. A few puddles around, but look, once you're a little bit wet on the skin, what do they say, Benita? Skin's waterproof.
That's right, yeah.
You'll be right.
A bit of rain won't hurt anyone. So looks like we've got everyone across the line now, and they're all out on course. So we'll be following those elites. The elite men should be through 10K fairly soon.
5K, sorry,
5K
yeah.
fairly
That'd be
soon.
fine if it was 10. No.
So we've got to just keep an eye on those splits there. As soon as we get that 5K split, we'll let you know.
Wonderful, and there's our little weather update as well. The wind is the one that I like really focus on here, and that while ever that's sort of under 15, 20 k's an hour, the runners will really appreciate that, especially as they turn around. They're heading in a northerly direction at the moment up towards Paradise Point, where they'll make their turnaround for home. So you don't want to be pushing too hard into a southerly coming home. It's humid, we know that. There's rain falling from the sky. It's 14.5 degrees. Look, that's you can get anything these days, as we know, and there's been all sorts of wild weather up and down the coast, but look, that's not going to be too much of an issue, I don't think. No,
look, I mean, in the dark and when the weather's this cool, the humidity isn't too much of a problem, so they should be feeling quite comfortable, the runners here, and nice and relaxed in this first part.
Just ticking these kilometres and these 5 kilometre splits off as easy as possible, as you mentioned. You can have a little look at the elevation of the course, and there's not a lot to speak about, Benita. I feel like you go over the odd bridge and maybe climb up by a metre. As you can see, let's call it pancake flat, basically. Yeah, look, this is a fast course, Robbo, and you can see by that. Look, I think that's just, they're probably almost speed humps, those little hills. This year, as you heard at the start, they actually did start the half marathon going up. Do we call it Heartbreak Hill? There is a slight hill near the start-finish area here at Broadwater Parklands. Locals will know it, but look, that's about it in terms of any sort of elevation. It is absolutely flat. It is fast. It's known for good times up here at the Gold Coast, and it's great to be finally back on after a couple of years of this event on hold. And our ASICS Half Marathon leading the way. We've got the night vision goggles on here, and we can see Jess and Eloise Wellings still working away in a big pack of, feels like there's 20 or so runners there. And that'll be nice just to get in that, almost switch off for these early stages. They know where each other are, Jess and Eloise, and we'll see what happens in the final few kilometres. But for now, they're just happy to be along for the ride. Oh, for sure. And, if you're a male runner in that pack, you're running, sub 70-minute pace probably. So, that's a very good run. So these guys are going to be sticking in this pack as long as they can. And, obviously we're focusing on Jess and Eloise, but, geez, that pack's a big pack, so there's going to be so many PBs out of that pack. And that's what we want, and that's what it's famous for up here. We've got to start the watch. What's going on here? We've got a watch malfunction, perhaps. One of our pacing groups. We had Paddy Carroll out there before in the 1 hour 50 pacing group. And we're just waiting to get things underway here. Oh, this is the chaser. So we'll see. This might be the tail runner. I'm not sure.
And we know Polar is the official
Yes,
sponsor here today. So, and I've got a Polar watch, and they're fantastic, and they've got all our timing here today up on our screen. So if you want to have a look at some pacing and some watches and check your pace and make sure you're going at the right pace, check out Polar.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks to all our supporting partners here as well. And it's great to have Village Roadshow theme parks on board as well. I feel like that deal's been, that arrangement's been around for a couple of years, and we haven't had a chance to actually spruik it here on the live stream. So it's great to see when you come up to the Gold Coast, you run the marathon and then you go and celebrate at the theme parks.
Oh, look, it's a fantastic double. And, you know, you want to come here, run the marathon, and then go to the theme parks and have fun with your family. And that's what the Gold Coast is all about. It's about coming here not only for the run, but for everything else the Gold Coast offers.
This seems like a fantastic theme park experience here, running a half marathon in the dark on the streets of the Gold Coast. And we could just see they're still pushing that pace there. Liam and Brett Robinson up the front. And as we track back to our next group, this will give us a bit of a sense of how far back. We can see there's Hamish Longmuir from Newcastle's caught up just in front of the lead women's pack there. So, you know, some great age group runners in triathletes. I know Hamish is a good triathlete in here as well. Getting a chance to stretch their legs over the half marathon distance here for the ASICS half marathon. And we're working our way up through the field thanks to our camera people on the motos this morning. It is starting to lighten up a little bit there, Benita.
Yeah, look, we can see a bit of light, but I don't think the runners will be really complaining too much, because really this is nice. So as long as it's not hot, really sunny, direct sunlight, this is quite nice to run in. It's quite relaxing, I think, even though they're probably not too relaxed by this stage.
Comfortably uncomfortable, I think is the term, isn't it? And so 17 minutes through on the clock, they will have gone through 5Ks. We'll bring you exactly our splits, but regardless of what time they're running, this is our lead pack here. It remains Liam Adams, Ed Goddard, Brett Robinson, and our fourth place runner just falling off the back of that pack. So you feel like there's your podium. 17 minutes into the race, that's kind of been decided, barring anything crazy going on.
Oh, for sure, Robbo. And look, they've broken away quite considerably from everyone else. And you know, Liam Adams is certainly being the aggressor, but like Brett Robinson, he's right there. He's followed every move, and you know, these guys have raced very recently in Launceston, so they really know how each other races, and that's why I think Liam Adams has gone to the front and really pushing the pace now.
Wonderful. Well, we'll let these runners get onto their work, and we'll bring you back some more action very, very shortly. We're just going to head to a commercial break. See you very shortly for more action in the ASICS Half Marathon.
Training program, week 3, day 4. Training program, week 5, day 2.
Week 6, day 4.
I feel a strong connection.
It echoes in your mind.
It's like you feel the energy enter.
It pushes you forward. You sense its power.
As you exceed your limits.
I wake up every morning with a smile on my face. Everything is place as it should be. No strings and no connections, no ties to my affections. I'm fancy free and free for any good dancing. So on the big attraction, my text to take the action. I'm free for anything. Let's see.
Welcome back. It's great to have you here at the Village Roadshow Theme Parks Gold Coast Marathon. It is ASICS Half Marathon morning, and I've got Benita Willis with me. If you're just waking up and tuning in, we are 20 minutes into the ASICS Half Marathon, and the pictures you're seeing on your screen are from out on course, our lead men through coming up to sort of 7K. Now, this is this little turnaround that we do just before the 7K mark. There's just a little dog leg left, in and around, and they'll rejoin the main course here. Benita, as we've mentioned before now, the pace it really seems to be on this morning.
Oh, for sure, Robbo. You know, Liam Adams has pushed the pace right from the start, really, and we've got Brett Robinson there and Ed Goddard as well, and they're both handling the pace really well. They're hanging on, but we can see with every move, it's always Liam going to the front with a few metres. So I think these guys are just sitting in there, knowing it's a good pace and waiting to make their move as well. But who knows? Liam Adams might run away with it.
Look, they're getting serious, as we can see. Ed Goddard, he's got rid of the shades. It's getting, his eyes are accustomed to it, and Brett Robinson's got rid of the cap now as well. So they're losing some of their accessories, and they're metaphorically rolling up the sleeves as we get into the business end of this event. But I'm just scouring to see where the 7 kilometre marker is there, Benita. That might be it there. It wouldn't be far away. That's that 3 minute and a bit pace, which is about what we're hoping to see. Hopefully quicker than that even. 2:56 pace gets us that 62-minute finish. So that's where we know these runners can be. Brett Robinson, as we know, has broken the 1 hour mark. The only Aussie to have done that. As Liam just gets a little look at the clock there, and look, they're on track for a great finish here today at the ASICS Half Marathon.
Oh, for sure. And look, we know that Liam Adams has just come off a PB over the half. He's in great shape, and Brett Robinson as well has run a really good 10K over in America and won the half that Liam did his PB in, so yeah, over in Launceston. So look, they're in shape. It's just a matter of who can be faster over that last 10K, and it's who feels the best in those closing stages. Yeah,
Liam really looks determined, not that bothered by being the one that's out in front. He's effectively acting as a pacer for the other two and dragging them along. But our women's race here, no change in the order here. Jess and then Eloise, and they're working together. Look at that, they know each other well. They're good friends as well. I know you know them both well. Would they have had a discussion beforehand? Let's work together for the earlier stages and see what happens at the back end.
Oh, look, Robbo, they're really good friends, so they would know what's going on. And I think, the key is for them to just have a really good run before Commonwealth Games. And so, yeah, they would definitely know what's happening and just be able to relax as much as they can. And it looks like very even pacing too, which is huge in these sort of races.
As we see Liam Adams here, famous for running in his tradie singlet. He is an electrician by trade when he's not tearing up running courses around the country. And the women now coming through that little turnaround section there, just approaching the 7K mark themselves. So, getting a sense of 7K pace time. There's 23 on the clock as they approach that mark. So I can't see any other females in that pack. So that'll be Eloise and Jess. They are our 1 and 2 in the women's ASICS Half Marathon field this morning. Who's going to get the bragging rights today and can brag all the way to Birmingham, I guess, as part of the Com Games team that's coming up?
Oh, look, it's very hard, but I know Jess just did a 10K PB recently, so, she's coming off really great form from Launceston. And Eloise, she ran a marathon PB this year. So, look, they're both in good shape, but they're coming at it from different directions, so it's going to be great to see that closing, probably 5K, to see who's going to come over on top.
Yes, it certainly will be. So let's look to aim towards the 10K split. We'll get our next chance. Sorry, we haven't been able to bring you that 5K split this morning, just having a technical issue with that. But the 10K split, we should get you a good reading for that. Men's race here, they're really relaxing into their running. Liam Adams, Brett Robinson and Ed Goddard. He's got the shades up on the head to hold back those long flowing locks. And it's a treat to be able to see these fellas up close and personal. You can see the whites of their eyes almost, Benita, here, and get a sense of how hard they're working. Who looks the most relaxed here?
Oh, look, I think, Brett looks like he might be able to go a bit harder now, but I feel like he's just relaxing and just sitting in the pack, and he looks like he's quite comfortable just running as long as he can in this pack like this. So it's interesting though, because I think Liam always looks the same, so you just don't know. He might find another gear pretty soon, and he just seems to be grinding the whole way. And Ed Goddard, geez, this is a brilliant run from Ed Goddard. I mean, this would be probably one of his best career runs if he goes all the way through to the finish like this. So, yeah, look, it's tough to call, but I think Liam Adams, being the real aggressor, but Brett Robinson looks pretty comfortable there.
Yeah, like he's almost treating it like a time trial a little bit. Liam Adams, he's obviously got a time in mind. He just wants to hit that, and it's up to whoever wants to come with him. And yeah, he's setting the tone, the tempo here at the moment. But yeah, as you say, hard to see anyone working too hard at this stage. They're all looking like they're running within themselves and knowing how this is likely going to end with a move in the last 5Ks, or it might take us all the way down to the last 500 metres.
That's right, and look, Brett Robinson would have the fastest 10k PB in the field here, so that both these guys know that Brett's got that sprint finish, but they want to try to sort of pull the sting out of that sprint finish from a long way out, and that's definitely what Liam Adams is trying to do.
Interesting to see these little marginal gains where runners like Ed Goddard hugging the inside of the curb there. He's working on the tangents. He's maybe got the mathematics brain going. I know I certainly do that as I've got older, Benita. You look for the shortest way there. And so these are little fine margins that you try and get advantages as best you can. But look, yeah, they're working well. And here's Jess and Eloise. We're up close with them as well. And it's Matt Clark in the fluoro singlet just ahead of Jess there. Jess's teammate from Team Tempo, both coached by Adam Diddick, down there in Adelaide in South Australia. And it's great to see Matt being able to help both the women in the top of this, in the lead pack of this field here. They'll be through 7Ks now, heading up towards this turnaround. There's the 9K mark for the men's race, so 26:30-ish for 9Ks, giving you a sense of the pacing there. So we're under 3-minute pace, which is exciting to see, Benita. And hopefully we can see some negative splits here and they can really come home, even though they'll be pushing into a light southerly breeze. But about to see them go round the most northerly turnaround point up at Paradise Point, and then all the other runners can get a good look at them. It's exciting being a recreational runner, seeing the best runners in the country in the same race, on the same roads as you.
Oh, look, it's hugely motivating, and it's just one thing to just keep your concentration going when you see, these elites heading back towards the finish line when you're still going out. But look, these guys, I think the winds are very light today, about 11 k's an hour or so. So it's not going to be too bad in that last half. Sometimes if the winds are a bit higher, I think it's a bit harder in that last half, especially all the way through to the finish. So conditions are good, and they're good for hopefully a negative split second half.
Yeah, let's see that, hopefully. So there's a sense of the map and the lay of the land, if you like, here on Yugambeh country, and yes, up towards that turnaround point, 10.5 k's, and they'll be heading back towards us here at the start precinct. And those flags, they don't give much away at all. I mean, they tell us plenty. There's not much blowing out there at the moment. We have had some years up here where it can be a bit wild and woolly, and this isn't too bad at all. So, yeah, no excuses to blame the weather today if you don't get a good run in. And the rain has eased. The roads, as you can see, a little bit damp, but these shoes and the technology they use, I can see Jess there in the ASICS, which she likes, and that's great to have supporting the sponsors. But yeah, they'll be able to manage and negotiate whatever's happening with the conditions of the road.
Yeah, look, I think the conditions are pretty good, and it was very hard to predict the conditions for today as well. We thought it might have been even heavier rain, but I think the key thing is that wind in the second half, and it's not very windy at all. So it's going to be fine for everyone once they do that final turnaround, and they're running back south again and back towards the finish line. And what we want to see today is some really good finishes, but some really good second half of these races, and that's where these races are won and lost, but that's where those good times, those fast times, those course records, that's when they happen, is when we can get those really fast second halves. So we're really looking towards both races for a great second half. And look, Liam Adams here, he's still pushing it, isn't he? No one's going in front of him, which means that he's just pushing the pace, and the other two, they're just quite happy to stick with it. And sometimes Liam gets a few metres on them too. So
yep.
It's showing that, like, he keeps looking at his watch, it's showing he's got a pace in mind and he's just going for it.
Yep.
It's gutsy, and it's very tough to run like at the front like this the whole race, the whole of a half marathon. I mean, I've never done it before. It's very hard to run from the front.
So there's 10k now, 29:37 unofficially. So they're through the 10k mark, and that gives us a sense of that sort of pace, well under 3-minute pace. And so if they can build on this great start, we should see a pretty nice finishing time here from all three of these men. Liam Adams, we're into sort of PB territory from him. 102, what's he, 102.51?
Yeah, look, and his 10k PB is only 28.40, so it's not you know, it's probably a minute off his PB even through 10K. So it shows how hard he's pushing when, you know, we've got Brett Robinson with a PB of 27.50 or so.
102.12, I should say. Sorry for Liam, who just updated that recently. And here's Jess and Eloise, and we'll get a sense of where they are. They'll be heading towards their 10K split very shortly as well, and we will get a sense. But Maddie Clark leading them out there on pacing duties, and everyone behind him very glad that he's doing that. And Jess, she's super experienced, as is Eloise. They'll be enjoying it. They'll be at a point where it's hurting a bit, but they'll be absolutely loving being back out there, especially the two of these great friends. And as we said before, with the news for Andy Buchanan being named on his first team, these two stalwarts of Australian Com Games distance running, but they'll be no less excited in many ways to be back there after both becoming mums. It's the super mums here this morning at the ASICS Half Marathon.
Yeah, look, and I know, Robbo, you know, in the last Village Roadshow Theme Parks Gold Coast Marathon, they were both pregnant. So they were both about 20 weeks pregnant, and they ran the 10K together, and I think they finished like sort of crossing the line together as well. So great friends. They've both got sons that are sort of turning 3 later this year. And so, you know, they've gone through a lot of the same sort of experiences in these last 3 years. And I know going to those Birmingham Commonwealth Games, I know Eloise flies out on Sunday night, so she's, you know, going tomorrow night.
Yep.
So, you know, they'll be off on the plane soon. I'm sure Jess is going away soon as well. So, you know, to have a race like this and a little hit out, I think is really good. And look, Matt's doing a great job. He's setting up the race for them, but not only for these girls, but this whole pack. And I mean, a lot of these guys, they're probably on PB pace as well, you know, and to have someone pace you like this, you'd never normally get that in any of these sort of races. So these guys are on a good wicket if they can just hang on too.
And whatever happens in deciding this women's race, I reckon they should get the boys out and maybe have a crack on the junior dash later on, the 2K junior dash, and then we'll see. That might be the decider. But as we can see here, the water's still on the left of the picture there, which means they're heading north, and moments away from the turnaround, I would suggest. And then it'll be a 10 or so K kick back to the finish. Liam in the centre, Ed Goddard on our left, Brett Robinson on the right. And these fellas are sticking to each other tightly at these early stages as we pan back, and we will see them turn around here. And Liam just taking it nice and easy, keeping everyone upright. Ed grabs the bollard, and then that's it. They've made the turn. They're heading for home now. And a few locals out there. There's 11K mark. So 11Ks in 32.45, we'll say, unofficial. So there you go, 10 and a bit Ks to go, fellas. And it's going to be a shootout. This is really exciting to see and great to be able to bring you these pictures.
Yeah, look, and this is a business end now. So, you know, once they're running back south towards the finish line, they're knowing that, you know, they've already gone over halfway. So then, you know, 10K to go. When you're in this part in a half marathon, you sort of got to make sure you're conserving your energy at this stage, because you've got to be ready for that last 5K. And that's really when these races are won and lost. But also, you know, when you get your best time, or you maybe just miss a PB by, you know, a few seconds. So, you know, and look, Liam Adams is looking around. So maybe is he asking Ed Goddard to take the lead,
do some work.
I don't know. Sometimes that's a sign that he just wants to relax a bit as well. And he might be thinking, look, I need to conserve energy here. It's hard to say, but yeah, it looks like they're having a bit of a conversation. I Liam's smiling, so I'm not sure. I don't know if that's a smile or a grimace. But,
I saw it, Liam Adams beating his chest there before. I don't know if that was to bring up some phlegm or to fire himself up in some way, but yeah, look, they're having fun. Same as in the women's race. These fellas, they all know each other so well, especially Robbo and Liam. They've been around on the running scene in Australia for so many years at the top end, and really, really exciting, and great to see the next generation. Ed Goddard coming through. He stepped up to the marathon. Hasn't probably quite got what he wants to achieve there yet, but still has that fast turnover in the shorter distances too, and he'll be loving being part of it. And this is a great three-way battle here in the men's race in the ASICS Half Marathon. We can bring you some splits in the women's race. 33.11 for both Jess and Eloise as we go back and have a look here. Tucked in behind Maddie Clark there, the tall figure out the front in the fluoro singlet and shoes. And Jess and Eloise, 33.11. What do you make of that through 10K, Benita?
Yeah, look, I think the pace is on. I mean, we know that it's set up for about 70 or just under. So I think Maddie, he's doing a good job. So we'll look up what that might project as the finish time. But 33.11, good going. But I think the key is, regardless of the time, it's how they're feeling at this stage as well. And what we want to do is really just make sure you're feeling good, you're running fast enough for that good time at the end and the time that you want to chase. But you just want to make sure that you're not on the edge. And so, when you run a 5K, you're always on the edge of being a bit hard. But in the half marathon, you sort of just want to make sure that you're relaxed as much as possible, especially in that first 10K. So, I think it's a lot about the feeling, but about that final time as well. We want to make sure that we set it up well. But look, he's done a great job out in front, wearing all the ASICS gear. He looks good, bright yellow. He'd be good to see in the dark. So.
Yes, exactly. That's probably why they've stuck him out there so they could see. And speaking of that predicted finish time, he's leading them out metronomically, 3:19 average pace, which is bang on 70 minutes, Benita. So that's where they're at the moment. They'll be super happy with that. Gives them some wriggle room if they're feeling good, Eloise and Jess, to kick home. And especially for Jess, who's never been under that magical 70-minute mark. Geez, wouldn't that be exciting to get her there today and take over a minute off her PB?
Yeah, look, and Robbo, she is an athlete that, her PB should be under the 70-minute mark. So it's just a matter of having the opportunities to run fast half marathons and really going for it as well. So, yeah, it'd be fantastic to see her go under 70 minutes. And we know the course record is 69 flat, and that was set by Lisa Waitman. So, it's not quite as quick as that. That's a brilliant run, 69 flat here. But look, these girls, they're going really well, and they're on track for a really, really good time and a fast time. And if it was sub 70, it'd be fantastic.
Wouldn't it? Yeah, it'd be great. And, the last few years we've seen Sinead Diver, our winner, last 2 years, won 69.46, 69.27. And Sarah Hall are back there as well. So we've had finished winning times in the last few editions in and around that 70 minutes. Hopefully we can see that continue today with one of our Aussie athletes. And either way, if we can both get them both, Jess and Eloise, under 70 minutes, that'll be a tremendous result, especially for both of them heading towards Birmingham. Ed Goddard, here's a little downhill section he's just cashing in on.
Yeah, look, it looks like he might have just gone to the front a little bit. Maybe Liam's told him,
Come on, young
take
fella,
the lead.
do a bit of work.
Yeah, it's hard to know. They might be running more side by side. It's just with the angle, it's hard to tell. But I think Liam's sort of trying to conserve his energy a little bit now. And look, he was very aggressive early, so it's just one of those things that he's just waiting, biding his time. He's still checking his watch, but look, he might start go. Oh, they're running together now. They're running in a line. So.
Just in the women's race, Benita, just to go back to that, so Jess Stenson, Eloise Wellings, our first and second through the 10, 11K mark. Hannah Miller in third place, a runner from New Zealand, through in 35.04 through 10Ks. And Regina Jensen from Newcastle, who I've had the pleasure of training with, 35.37 for Reggie. Laura Nagel, 35.37, also from New Zealand, coming fifth through 10K. So that's how it's the second race, I guess, within the women's race is panning out. We're not getting a look at those third, fourth and fifth runners due to the nature of these first two being so quick, I guess. And so, we're enjoying the coverage that we're getting here of watching Eloise and Jess do their thing, joined by a pack of, 10 or 15 pacers. And as you said, they're all looking for their PB. So they're all motivated, this group, to get plenty out of this race. As we see Matty Clark in that fluoro singlet out in front, he just takes a look over his left shoulder to see where Jess and Eloise are. He's trying to really drag them along. You can see he's trying to pull that pace. He'll have Coach Diddick will have been in his ear to say, I want this pace, I want these splits. And so he'll be working hard to make that happen for them.
Yeah, look, and you can see he keeps looking back because he just wants to make sure he's there for the girls. And, there's some guys that might be sort of going ahead from now on to the finish. So it's sort of just judging your pacing and just looking to see where the girls are and where they're keeping up. And, they just want to keep on that pace and keep the pressure on as well. And, it's a race in two, but it's also a very good opportunity for a hard training session before Birmingham Commonwealth Games. So, there's a lot of purposes to this race for these girls in this ASICS half marathon.
Benita, you've been on national teams. There's almost an obligation, I understand, so from Athletics Australia, from the selectors. We've picked you. Go and show us that you're in the form that that we need you to be in before you go and represent Australia. Is that kind of how it works?
Oh, look, you're picked anyway, so It doesn't matter. But the thing is, before marathons, I always like to do a half marathon 3 to 5 weeks out. And anyone that I coach, I always suggest that's a really good idea. And look, I've got a few people in this half marathon today that are running halves ahead of a marathon later in the year. And it's a really good lead up and really good preparation. And you want to practice what you're eating before the race and mimic that for the marathon. Practice, even pacing as well. But it's a really good way to practice what you can do for the marathon.
All right, so we're 40 minutes into the ASICS half marathon. Liam Adams, Ed Goddard, Brett Robinson, our leaders in the men's race, and Eloise Wellings, Jess Stenson in the women's race. We're going to come back to you very shortly. Here's our commercial break. See you shortly.
Training program week 3 day 4. Training program week 5 day 2.
Week 6, day 4.
I feel a strong connection.
It echoes in your mind.
It's like you feel the energy in return.
It pushes you forward. You sense its power.
As you exceed your limits.
Make the most of every moment these holidays and visit all your favourite theme parks. For a limited time, celebrate movie magic during Hooray for Hollywood, returning these school holidays. And explore the largest official Batman exhibition in the Southern Hemisphere at Warner Brothers Movie World. Plus, get ready to ride the Trident and Mighty Leviathan roller coaster opening the 3rd of September at SeaWorld. Live in the moment with your Village Roadshow Locals One Pass.
Well, it's great to have you here for the Village Roadshow Theme Parks Gold Coast Marathon Day 1. We've got our rejig timetable. We've got the ASICS Half Marathon on the Saturday for the first time this year, and it's great to have Benita Willis joining me here in the studio, and we're in awe of what's going on out there on the course in both the men's and women's elite races, but in awe of everyone out there, as we can see. One direction is the fastest, 3 of the fastest men in the country. The other direction is, you know, so many hundreds, thousands of recreational runners all running their, you know, race of their lives as well, which is great to see.
Oh yeah, and look, we just see those pictures there. Brett Robinson really opening up now and leading that lead pack of men. So that's an interesting move by Brett Robinson. And going back to see Jess Stenson here, just cruising along, and Eloise Wellings just behind her there. And yeah, they're going really well as well.
And heading for home, both the men's and the women's. Just in the men's race, I'll give you an update. We've been keeping an eye on our top 3 here who are closely bunched together. Liam Adams, Brett Robinson, Ed Goddard. Through 10Ks, in 4th place, we had Liam Burden, the Queenslander, and Tim Vincent, a fellow Queenslander. So Liam, 29.59, and Tim Vincent, 30 minutes on the dot. So those two together, about 25 seconds behind the lead pack. So they're not too far off, but you would suggest the class of these 3 fellas will mean that this is where the podium is decided. But good to see, you know, the Queenslanders pushing on despite that. And look, they may still feature in the race if a couple of these fellas do start to tie. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a great run by these 2 Queenslanders, 4th and 5th, because, you know, we know they train together. Tim's actually run a really fast half marathon in Rome earlier in the year, so it's a great opportunity for them to be in a race like this. But yeah, look, they're a bit off this main pack.
There they are, spread across the field at the moment, all looking for the inside line. Ed Goddard taking them through this roundabout. And Liam, as you said, Benita, probably a little happier, having done the majority of the work in the first half of this race. He's happy enough to sort of sit back there and prepare himself for what's coming. And, you know, we've seen some great battles over the years, Brett and Liam. Brett just loosening up the neck. He's looking super relaxed here at the moment. Ed's happy to hang in there as well. So this is where it does start to get pretty tough for these runners, but they're so experienced, they're so classy, and they're just gearing up for when this move will be made, or when one of their competitors will make this move. Great to be able to see these pictures. Jess and Eloise separated by one of our elite runners there at the moment, Maddie Clark up in front, just ticking along beautifully. We had them going at 3:19 pace through halfway, so you know, still on track for 70-minute finish time here, which would be a big PB for Jess. And we'll see what's going to happen in the back end of the women's race as well. Who's your picker here, Benita? In either of Eloise or Jess?
Yeah, look, it's hard to say. I know Jess won in a 10K recently in Launceston, ran a course record and a PB, a big PB, 31:49 over 10K. So we know, she's won in their last recent race, but that was only 10K.
We've got our one magnificent SES crew here, and we know how busy they've had to be due to some of the weather events we've had this year. So SES crew, thanks for their involvement. These events don't happen without help from a lot of different individuals and organisations, and the SES crew there, all decked out, and they'll be staying nice and warm and toasty. And there's all our fans at the finish line here. They are pumped. Give us a wave down there at the finish line, and it's great to have you there. A few umbrellas and a few ponchos there, but where else would you want to be? We're finally back here for the Village Roadshow Theme Parks Gold Coast Marathon. Here's a move, Benita. Brett Robinson. He was loosening up the neck.
Yeah.
That was a sign. We should have known.
Look, and that's a big move, Robbo. Look, he's got, like, it's hard for us to tell, but probably 10 metres or at least 5 metres. And, a move like that in the latter stages, but there's still, 15 minutes of running to go.
It's clearly.
But it's a big move, and it just shows he's feeling good, isn't he? He's gone.
It was a clear strategy from Robbo. He said, when they go to the SES crew, I'm going. So, look, there it is, and that's the space of, 30 seconds or so. He's just said, right, bang, here I go. We'll see how the other two respond, and I imagine, this isn't all done and dusted by any means, but yeah, through 46, 47 minutes, Brett Robinson has made a statement here at the ASICS Half Marathon, and we will see if he's good enough to hold on. He hasn't won the event here at the ASICS Half Marathon before. His teammates and training partners, Jack Rayner's won the last couple of years. Liam Adams has been a winner in 2012. Ed Goddard hasn't won the race here yet. But look at that. Robbo just looking over the left shoulder to just make sure that little move has worked, and it has been very effective.
Yeah, and look, that's how you want to make moves in these sort of races. Like, you don't want to just go to the front and not get a gap. So he knows what he wants to do. He's obviously feeling good, but you want to get that gap. And then, it just breaks the confidence a bit too from the other people you're running with. So it gives you not only a gap, but, it's just one of those things that gets you right up the front and ready to sort of make that final push to the finish. But, like, he's looking good, Brett. He's looking really relaxed. We know he won the Melbourne Marathon last year, and he's running well. He's running really well over 10K. So he's got that speed and he's got that turn of pace, which I don't think the other two guys have.
Where would he be up in his career? Obviously disappointed with not being able to get his best performance at the Olympics in Tokyo last year, Benita, but, obviously looking to... There's some unfinished business. You feel like he's targeting that Australian marathon record if he can get down to that level?
Yeah, I mean, and he's still, he's got so many years, so he's very capable of running a really fast marathon, and we just haven't seen it yet. But yeah, look at this now.
Move in the women's race.
So we've seen Eloise break away, and I mean, it's one of those things, the same as Brett Robinson. She's breaking away at a similar place. They're from the same training group, Melbourne Track Club. Maybe they've had the same advice about what to do.
I can't see the earpiece to coach Nick Bideau in the ears for both of them. They both started with caps. They both made their moves at about 46, 47 minutes. But yeah, look, Eloise Wellings, she looks absolutely fierce, you'd have to say.
Yeah, she looks fantastic. And I mean, it's one of those great sort of performances. If she can keep this going, this is going to give her huge confidence going into the Commonwealth Games. But I mean, she's already got a lot of confidence. She's run marathon PB this year. She's run 3 marathons in consecutive PBs, in the last sort of 7 months or so. So, her running is just unbelievable. So, yeah, look, she's going really well, and I think she's probably just going to keep this rolling. And don't forget about Jess, though. And Jess is still, within reach, and there's still a long way to go. So, we've just got to watch these two. But look, Eloise looks fantastic, and look at these guys she's got to run with as well. So, we've seen this group really break up. So I think that's an indication that Eloise has put in a bit of a surge here, and some of these guys are going with her. And the group, it's dispersing, and we see that when we have even paces, we see big groups. But once people push the pace, that's when we see the Kenyan style where they're all sort of running in a line, or there's less people in the group. So That's a big move by Eloise, and I just hopefully she's feeling good and she can hold it. But we want Jess to have a good run as well. So we're watching them both here.
We are, and it's going to be interesting to see where these runners split. Now we're getting into these final few kilometres now. This is the section looking across to the spit there, And Brett Robinson, as you can see, still holding that gap, but the other two have certainly not thrown in the towel by any means. And Liam and Ed Goddard are trying to claw back some centimetres, some metres. It's hard to say. It feels like they're not letting it go too much, but Robinson's move, certainly decisive there a few minutes ago, and he's just holding things together. And coming up to, it would only be a couple of Ks to go. They'll cross the bridge, and there'll be a 1K to go, and then make their way down and not be far off, turning onto the blue carpet here, the famous finish line at the Broadwater Parklands. But looking behind them, Liam and Ed, I wonder if that's a sign that they're not only they're worried about trying to catch Brett, but they're worried about maybe Liam and Tim Vincent hunting them down as well. So it's an interesting time here. But Robbo has really stepped things up here.
Yeah, and look, Robbo, he hasn't really been looking around as well. I know the other two guys are sort of looking back a lot. Brett Robinson's just looking forward and just running to that finish line now. So he'd be hurting, but I think he's running really well. And, I'd love to see him run a really fast marathon. We know he's capable, having that sub 60-minute half marathon that's our national record. We know he's capable of running a really fast marathon. And these sort of races, they give people confidence that they can do that. So, I hope he really uses this as a springboard to run really well over the marathon in the coming year or coming 6 months, like very soon anyway.
Yeah, how exciting to see the coverage, the live stream, be able to really focus in on our half marathoners. Other years we're juggling coverage and commitments for the marathon while the half marathon is on. But today it's a standalone event. It's got its own coverage, and at the moment it's Brett Robinson in the men's race leading, and here's Eloise Wellings. She's got clear air. She's on her own. She's outpaced the paces. And she is storming home to a strong finish here, Benita. Oh,
she's storming home, Robbo. And look, you can see that her cadence has even picked up a bit as well. And she seems to be even driving her arms a bit higher. But, she just looks fantastic, doesn't she? She looks relaxed. She gives nothing away on her face. She's not looking back. She's looking forward. But that decisive move, that's one thing that it's very hard to do in a race. But that's what you do to make that move to the finish. And we know Eloise has won a few of these races before. She knows how to win. I think she's won the 10K before and the half marathon before. So, she knows how to win. But, it's one thing saying that, but actually doing it is very hard, and very hard within a marathon prep as well. So she's looking fantastic.
Yeah, 2015 was the year that Eloise won the ASICS half marathon. 7 years on. Could this be the time to get her second win? And joining us here at the panel to bring home this exciting race, it's a warm welcome to another fellow who knows a bit about running, Mr. Rob De Costello. Deke, welcome to the panel.
Good
great
morning,
to have you here.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, great to join you. Yeah, what an exciting morning, and how good is it, huh?
Sensational to be back here. Great to see you.
Back. How good is it to be back?
We're finally here.
Yeah.
And Deke, I should mention, your half marathon PB, it's the 40-year anniversary. I just figured it out. 1982.
Oh, right.
Milan, Italy. 1:01:18.
Yeah, strong Milano.
Happy 40 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Go.
40 years. God damn, you're trying to just make me feel old.
What are you? You must have said it when you were 5 years old.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But as we can see here, we're following the races here, Deke. It's a great time for you to come and join us. These athletes, they're getting into the business. And when does it really start in this half marathon? The serious stuff. When does the pain come in? When do you really have to dig deep and find out what you're made of?
Yeah, look, I guess it's always, sort of that last 3 to 5K. The half is very different from the marathon. The marathon is about endurance and energy depletion and hitting the wall and all that sort of stuff, whereas the half is just a good, hard race. These guys, there's no, they won't hit the wall or anything in this. And it's, but it always gets hard. Oh, Liam's look like he's struggling, hey? But anyway, it's always hard in any race. Doesn't matter whether it's a 5K or 10K or half marathon. That last few K, because you're really trying to empty the bucket. You want to ideally pour your energy out of the bucket nice and evenly, and then sort of over that last couple of K, get that bucket, squeeze the crap out of it, and get everything you possibly can.
This is a nice little left-hand turn here for Brett Robinson. He looks over the shoulder. He's got a comfortable gap there. He's not getting away too far from them, but so a few Ks to go now in the ASICS half marathon, and before it gets to really ramping up here at the finish, Deke, we saw some of the Indigenous Marathon Project runners heading out. You got the squad here again this year.
Yeah.
Some of our IMP runners, this will be their first taste of a half marathon, I guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're back on track for New York in
Wonderful.
November. So we've got another full squad of 6 men and 6 women, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, young men and women, that 18 to 30-year-old age group from right across Australia, from little remote communities and country and cities. And you know, they ran their longest run 6 weeks ago. That was 10k.
Yep.
And now they're here lining up and running the 21k. So it's a pretty intense and rapid learning curve for them. They've never seen an event like this before in their lives. So just the crowds and the concept of wave starts and corrals and all that sort of stuff is all new and exciting. So it's a mixture of fear and excitement, and you know, they'll, I'm sure, you know, sort of come away. We'll catch up with them later and do a debrief and see what they've all learnt and shared their stories and stuff. So it's great. Our 13th year now of doing IMP. You know, 122 graduates, and thinking back that it was only a little over 10 years ago that very few, if any, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders had run international marathons, let alone sort of these big running events. And in addition to our IMP squad, we've probably got about 30 or 40 previous graduates, and our community running and walking program, our IMF Raw. We've got a whole group from Darwin. We've got one of the girls running both the double, the half marathon this morning, and then she's backing up to do the marathon tomorrow. And runners from up Cairns, Townsville, Mount Isa, right across it have all come in. So it's great. I'm just so excited to, like everyone else, to have the event back.
Yep.
It's been, we've been injured for 2 years.
Yeah. But hopefully we're back better. We've learned a bit from it, and we're better from the experience.
That's right. Yeah. But Brett's looking great,
isn't he?
Yeah.
He's looked good all the way.
Yeah.
Just looking at him early on, he's just such a nice, comfortable mover, and I think sort of looking down at his watch before and looking at his pace and stuff, he's pretty comfortable and pretty relaxed, and it'll be interesting to see what time he is able to achieve, and it'll be sort of a great indication of his preparation, and also for Liam as well, sort of heading overseas now representing Australia. It's great to have a good hard hit out up here.
Wonderful. You're lacing up yourself across the weekend, Deke?
No.
Well, I'm not.
Benita? That makes 3 of us. It's 3 strikes.
Benita's got a pretty good experience.
Yeah.
I'm just getting old.
That's all right. No, that's all right. Well, we're happy enough just to be able to chat about and describe the scenes that we're seeing here this morning. This is the ASICS Half Marathon. If you have just joined us, well, pretty much you've woken up at the perfect time, because this is the closing stages of the men's and women's ASICS Half Marathon. Brett Robinson, we had a pack of 3 for the majority of this race. Brett Robinson, Liam Adams and Ed Goddard, but as you can see, absolutely obliterating that pack, and he's still loosening up the neck, Benita, which makes me think he's going to go again and find another gear. The women's race, we had a race of 2 for the majority of the event, but we've gone to just Eloise as a clear leader here. She's made her move, and she's looking comfortable as well. Benita, you think she's going to pull off another great victory here at the ASICS Half Marathon?
Yeah, look, it's looking really good for Eloise, Robbo, and she made that decisive move at a similar point to when Brett made his move, and they've both maintained that gap and probably extending them as well, which is, it's hard to do, but it's showing their strength in this second half here. And Eloise is one of those runners, Robbo, that she's been around. Like I went to the World Juniors with her in 1998, so she's been around for a long time. She's got so much experience, fairly new to the marathon. I mean, she's only done 3, but her 3 have been consecutively better. She's very good at these road running events. She's got a very good focus, but very relaxed. She's always a very relaxed runner, and she's one of those people that I love to train with, because she always made you feel relaxed even when you're running really hard on reps. And this is showing today, like she'd be hurting a bit here, but she looks awesome.
Yep, looks amazing. And if you're an athlete lining up against Eloise at the Women's Commonwealth Games Marathon, I'd be watching this, being quite nervous and thinking, wow, she is in some form.
yeah, she should go away to Birmingham. She's going tomorrow night. She'd be going away with a lot of confidence. She's going over to St Moritz to train at altitude before she goes to Birmingham, and that'll get her really ready for the race. And I know Johnny and their kids are going as well. Johnny's going about a week later, but yeah, and her coach Nick Beddoe is doing a great job with her, and Brett Robinson, so we can see them both in the pictures here,
Yeah.
both leading these fields and winning decisively.
Fantastic. Robinson now in the final kilometre. So we're going to see, there's his PB, just going through there, 59.57. Amazing, that run of his a couple of years ago in Maragami. But we're going to see a clear win here for Brett Robinson. Liam Adams, Ed Goddard, apologies, in second place there, and Liam a little further back. Shortly we'll see Brett Robinson take this famous left-hand turn. It seems like when you're running it, you've both experienced it, seems like it takes forever to get to this left-hand turn. But he'll hit that very shortly and be greeted by the cheers of the crowd. We've got the 20k split for Robbo, 59.58, so very close to his actual PB. But we're going to see here Brett Robinson make history and get his name on the winners list here at the ASICS Half Marathon in the next couple of minutes or so. So make some noise for him if you're down there at the finish line. He's smiling already. You might be hearing our coverage, who knows, but he looks super relaxed. And you've won plenty of races in your time, Benita and Deke. This is a nice feeling. You've got it in the back pocket.
Yeah, look, and this is one of the best feelings, and you know, both Deke and myself, we've probably lost more races than we've won. So when you're in this winning position and you know you've got a bit of a buffer, you can just enjoy the crowd. As you get through these team tents here, we see all the team tents and they're all lined up on the just before you come into the finishing straight. You get a lot of energy from the crowd as well, and they'll be really cheering because a lot of these people, they don't see the athletes of Brett Robinson's calibre, you know, so they're really excited to see these elite athletes run past their team tents. So you're using that energy right to the finish. And was that all right? Was that for you as well, Deke? Were you using that crowd energy, or were you just hurting so much you wanted to get there?
Yeah, no, look, there's nothing better than having a lead and feeling good and strong over that last kilometre, you know, sort of, because you never, you know, even at an elite level, you never really know how the race is going to go, and in the early stages, as you know, you don't know, you've got no control over your competition, but you've got to just give yourself every chance, and so there's a fair bit of pressure and adrenaline and fear and nerves even for these guys coming into these races. But once the gun goes, then you get into racing mode, and you know, everyone at this level is so experienced now with good hard races, and then, you know, sort of to be able to now is really coming in close to the finish, but just to be able to relax and enjoy the atmosphere, knowing that you're pretty safe and clear. It's a great feeling, great just to be able to push out.
Wonderful scenes. We've waited a few years to bring you these scenes, and it's great to be here in the finish line. Brett Robinson, Ed Goddard.
Tim Vincent.
Tim Vincent's moved up into third there. He's actually overtaken Liam, who did the bulk of the heavy lifting, we must say, in the first half of this race. But let's have a look here. Brett Robinson coming around. You can see the tape now. It's a fantastic view here at the Broadwater Parklands. Ed Goddard in the picture there as well, pushing Robbo all the way home, but he's got time to high-five the fans here. Brett Robinson, he's Australia's fastest over the distance of half marathon. He's not going to break his record today, but geez, he's put in an impressive performance. Here's your winner of the ASICS Half Marathon. Ladies and gentlemen, for 2022, Brett Robinson breaks the tape, 1:03.17 unofficial. Looks like he could do it again, Benita.
Oh, he looked so comfortable. You know, what a great win, but yeah, he's done it really well.
Congratulations to Robbo getting the win there. Ed Goddard taking second, and here's Tim Vincent, the Queenslander, 1:03.32 unofficial there. As we cheer them home here, and that's our men's podium through Brett Robinson, calm as you like, and fantastic to see Brett Robinson writing his name into the history books here at the Gold Coast Marathon Festival and the ASICS Half Marathon. There's Liam, you know, beats the chest. Feels to me like he's maybe been battling a bit of a cough or something going on. We saw that during the race, but a brave run and a great run from Liam there also. Andy Buchanan's one that we haven't seen feature that we might have hoped. Hopefully he's okay. But yeah, 64 on the clock, and more of our runners coming through here now. We can hear from our winner of the ASICS Half Marathon now, down there with Joel Murray. Over to you, Robbo.
I felt pretty comfy out there, so felt in control the whole way. So just pulled away that last 5K, but yeah, happy to get the win.
How are the conditions this morning for you? Obviously it's a bit wet, but how did you find
It's pretty nice, to be honest. Like light drizzle, it's kind of good. It keeps you cool a little bit. It bucketing down, and that wouldn't be any good. But yeah, it was nice, really.
And you were almost close to that record. You just missed it by a minute, but you know you were pretty close. How does that feel?
Yeah, I know. My intention today was just come and get the win. I tried to run fast a couple of weeks ago, and it took a lot out of me. So I didn't want to come here and really try push myself again, because it just takes weeks to recover from hard races like that. So yeah, it was all about getting the win.
And how great is it after 2-3 years now, finally being back actually on the track and being able to cross that finish line?
Yeah, well, I was here last year ready for the race, and then it got cancelled a few days before, so which is devastating, and especially for all the recreation. They were all up here, and it's kind of their big race of the year. So it's good to see everyone out there. There's thousands of people cheering for me today, as they're running, which is great. So it's good to be here.
And that atmosphere as you're coming down as well, you saw you giving a couple of the fans some high fives. How does that feel, that final stretch?
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I haven't run this race before, so I didn't know what that finish was like. And it was cool coming around and heaps of people and heaps of kids putting their arms in high fives. So I tried to high five as many as I could, but Ed was just behind me, so I couldn't do too much.
Thanks, mate. Really
no worries.
Thanks, mate.
No worries.
Oh. So there we go. Great to hear from our winner of the ASICS Half Marathon. First, 1 from 1 for Robbo. Pretty good record.
And I read that I think he's doing a bit of a training run at 9:30 with some people under the arches at Surfers Paradise.
Right.
So, yeah, that might be his warm down.
Mate, very good. We should double up and do the marathon tomorrow. But just confirmation, folks, of our winners, our podium and the times. Brett Robinson, our winner, 103.14. Ed Goddard, 103.19. And Tim Vincent from Queensland, 103.31, rounding out the podium. So well done there. But the women's race, we turn our attention there to the finish, and Eloise is showing a clean pair of heels. She makes that left-hand turn back onto the Gold Coast Highway. That indicates she's got a kilometre to run. And so we're going to see a good time here as well, 106.30 odd on the clock. So will we see her get under that 70-minute time? You'd think she's a huge chance of doing that right now.
Oh, look, she's rolling along. She's very, she's very crude. She's got a huge gap. No one with her. I think she might have gapped all those guys as well. They're not in sight.
Well, we saw one poor fella in the headband. He fell off about 800 metres ago, yeah.
So, she's looking really good, and, she'll be feeling the same as Brett. They know they're going to win the race, and they're just going to draw on that crowd and the atmosphere and just really that momentum to get them going right across the line. But, she's a fantastic race by Eloise, and, it's just great to see her running so well and, before she gets on the plane. And, we're very excited to see her racing this marathon in a few weeks or in a month or so.
Yeah, it's a great hit out, and confidence you get from that good half marathon, Deke, weeks before the big one.
Yeah, she's looking great, isn't she? Sort of nice, relaxed through the shoulders, just sort of a gentle sway of shoulders, left and right. Nice springy through the legs. But it's incredible, you can see the head, the head's almost at a beautiful horizontal, so that means that all of the energy that she's using as she drops forward is being used to propel herself forward rather than going up and down. So it's really nice to see that, landing nice footfall on the front part of her feet, and just being able to really maintain that beautiful rhythm. And as Bernita said, it's wonderful to be able to just to be able to push yourself, knowing that you don't have to save anything to have a sprint finish with anyone on your shoulder, so you can just sort of run against the clock. And just, sort of squeeze that little bit out that you've got up your sleeve, and just, really finish on strong. And it is a good hard hit out. Half marathon's a pretty solid event before you fly overseas. Sometimes, sort of these hard hit outs can just drop your immune system a little bit. So, sort of you don't want to completely deplete yourself before you fly overseas. You don't want to hop on a plane which is, sort of like a little germ incubating place. And so hopefully, sort of not having to really actually squeeze hard to get everything out of herself over this last kilometre is a great preparation for her.
And just be further back there, we can see Jess Stenson holding on. We're about 35 seconds or so behind Eloise, so there is a clear gap there, but Jess is holding on well. Can she beat her PB? I think she's still definitely on for a chance to get under 1:10.59, which is Jess's PB. But as you say, Eloise, just enjoy this, folks, to be able to see these scenes. Eloise, who would have thought at 2015 she won the race here, goes and has a baby, comes back, and look at her. We're gonna see this Eloise Wellings smile, I'm sure, very shortly. She's working hard, as Deke said, but she takes the left-hand turn, and what a great feeling. She'll go under the arch with 2:50 to go, and give her a big cheer, folks, because here is one of Australia's greatest distance runners across many distances. She's just been picked for her 5th Commonwealth Games team, a stalwart of the sport here in Australia.
That's amazing. 5
Amazing.
games,
Yeah.
you know, sort of every 4 years. So, you know, what's that? 20 years of representing at that level.
Incredible.
Is an incredible achievement. Yeah.
And, you know, Melbourne Commonwealth Games, she almost got a medal in that 5K, so...
Yeah, such a spread.
And
spread of events.
Jess Stenson
Jess now, huh?
coming through, and Maddie Clark done well with the pacing duties there as well. Come on, Jess, here we go, as she comes into the chute here now. 1:10.30 on the clock. There's Eloise Wellings. She sees the finish tape now. What a story it is. She pops off the hat for the final couple of 100 metres, and she will bring home here and taste her 2nd victory in the ASICS half marathon. Here comes the smile. It's a grimace, it's a smile. Look at that. She is the Wonder Woman. What a win for Eloise Wellings, your winner of the 2022 ASICS half marathon.
And look, she's so pumped, Robbo. Like, she's so excited, and it was probably a bit hard, but yeah, she's pumped.
Bet's looking after the kids for the morning.
So just over 70 minutes. What's her PB?
Yeah, 1:09.29 is a quickest, but 1:10.53. You know, that's a solid run.
Yeah.
We know it was a little bit wet and windy.
Yeah.
They won't say that has much to do with it, but great hit out.
And you don't want to quite go to the well, you know, a month out from a marathon. And
That's
as Rob
right,
said,
yeah.
that when she's about to fly overseas. So I think she'll be really happy with that, and that's a great sign ahead of Birmingham.
And there's Jess Stenson coming through here, 1:11.36. She'll finish just outside her PB, about 30, 40 seconds or so. But look at that. Great friends, great rivals, and so much respect between the super mums here this morning, and inspiration for mums and dads and all runners here, all right around the country. Congratulations to Jess Stenson there. Riley Cox, teammate, congratulating her there as well. We'll hear from Eloise very shortly when she catches her breath, but tremendous scenes. I'm getting goosebumps just sort of watching these finishes happen. We're finally back here and we're cheering these runners home. 1:10.53 official time for Eloise Wellings. Jess Stenson, 1:11.35. We'll wait and see who's going to take that 3rd place in the women's race. There are some very strong runners coming in behind, and it'll be a battle to see who can get that 3rd place. But yeah, fantastic scenes, and what a way to get yourself fired up for a plane trip overseas tomorrow. You said, Benita, for Elsie.
Yeah, for Eloise, and I'm sure Jess is going soon as well. But you know, they both ran really well, and it's a great indication of how they're going to run in a month, and a great little hit out. But yeah, just great to see some really good racing. And you know, as we said 3 years ago, they both ran the 10K as you know, both pregnant, ran it together, and you know, very different experience. So yeah, it's great to have them up the front here in the ASICS half marathon today.
And we're just getting word the battle for 3rd place, Laura Nagel from New Zealand and Regina Jensen from Newcastle, New South Wales, battling it out for the 3rd spot. And this will be a huge PB, I'm sure, for both of them. We will see there. Steve Monaghetti in the shot there, bib number 100. And you can see the boy from Ballarat still got it. What's he going to come in about 1:15 or so, 1:16? So
I think he'll be happy with that.
look at that.
Yeah.
Is that a smile? Give us a wave, Mona.
He said he pulled up a bit sore from a half marathon last weekend. So, you know, it'll be great if he can run that sort of time. I think that's what he was hoping to run. It might even be a bit quicker than what he was hoping to run today.
Good. Well, he's got to get home quickly to rest up, because he's back in the studio tomorrow with me for the marathon. But he's looking like
he didn't have his name on the back, because I reckon there might have been a few runners out there if they knew that Steve Monaghetti was just in front of him.
That's right.
Maybe they might have pushed a little bit harder over that last 100 metres.
Exactly right, Deke. Exactly right. Here's Eloise. We're going to give you one more minute to catch your breath, Elsie, and then we'll hear from her very, very shortly. But you know, she said, "Oh, give me 2 minutes." So I think we can afford her that. And we should see some footage here of our 3rd place female. 1:14 on the clock. We'll get Mona home, and Laura Nagel or Regina Jensen let's get a look here. There's Laura there. So Laura Nagel looks to have
looking good.
Comfortable spot for third. I think I just saw Regina Jensen out to the left on that wider shot. But Laura Nagel, I've got personal experience running with Laura here on the Gold Coast. She was third place in the 10K a few years ago, and I said to myself, I've got to stick with Laura, and pulled me home to a PB that day. So I'm eternally thankful. But she stepped up to the half marathon here, and this will be, I think this will be her fastest run over the 21.1k distance. So Laura Nagel coming into the chute here now, New Zealand distance runner, and Regina Jensen looks like being our fourth place female in the women's ASICS half marathon this morning. And PBs, hopefully, as we often see up here on the Gold Coast, there's always a bit of magic in the air, and I'm sure a lot of these runners crossing the line will be very satisfied to not only be out here, get the run done, but also come away with their quickest ever time. Great to see crowds back here. You know, it's all happening. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think there'll be quite a few PBs today. I mean, you know, sort of when we got up this morning at, you know, sort of 4.
There's those flags, Dick. They're not. There's no wind.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah, and you know, it was pretty wet, and but it's really, you know, sort of the weather's really looked after the runners. It's a little bit damp, but you can see, you know, like there's no pooling of water on the road, which is what you know, which you don't want. And
it's a bit tricky.
And the worst thing for distance runners is the wind.
Let's hear from Eloise Wellings.
That felt good. We're still in quite reasonable marathon training, so I'm reasonably happy with the time as well, and Jess definitely pushing along too.
Yeah, you had a nice group there with all the guys, and it looked like a bit of a tactical thing. You sort of broke away from the group. You broke away from Jess with 5 kilometres to go. Was that the tactics out there today, or was it, I just feel good, I'm going to go for it?
Yeah, probably the second one. I just wanted to practice closing really strong today and being a bit more patient than I was in my last race at the Launceston 10K. And yeah, it paid off, thankfully. And another really good, I guess, confidence booster coming into a major championship, and I feel really honoured. It's my 5th Commonwealth Games, and I'm really excited about the future, moving up to the marathon. I feel like I'm just getting started again.
Well, we think you're an absolute legend here on the Gold Coast. We love you. What's the final words for the crowd? What do you want to say?
Yeah, you guys definitely got me across the line. The last 200 metres I was in the hurt locker, and thank you so much for all the cheers, and everyone out on the course too. It makes such a difference, and I'll definitely take that encouragement to Birmingham when I've got the green and gold on.
Well, we're right behind you, Ellie. Take it to Birmingham. We love seeing you here, and will we see you in 2023?
Thanks so much. I'll be back.
Yes, that's what we want to hear, guys. The Gold Coast.
Great work there. Great to hear from Eloise, and yeah, a champion, but a champion human being as well. We know she does some tremendous work with her own charity, you know, outside of running also. Just a lovely, lovely person, and great to see her smile lighting up the Gold Coast finish line there again. Yeah. And we should remember, we're talking about her PB, which she set 6 years ago in Maragami. She wasn't a marathoner then. She's a marathoner now, and like as she said, she'll be happy with that time. She's got the marathon mindset, and yeah, as I said earlier, if you were racing her in a marathon, I'd be worried.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be really worried. Yeah, and she's going there with, you know, it's her 5th Commonwealth Games, it's her first Commonwealth Games at the marathon distance, a distance that she absolutely loves, and she's been training fantastically well for, and she's had really good success at so far as well. So yeah, I'd be worried too.
Just confirmation there. So Eloise Wellings, our winner of the ASICS half marathon. 1:10.53, Jess Stenson second, 1:11.35, and Laura Nagel from New Zealand, 1:15.50. So we're giving 4th place to Regina Jensen. Just interestingly, Eloise's splits for the first 10K, 33.11. Second 10 to 20K is 33.56. So she did slow a little bit coming back home, which is to be expected. But yeah, and ran out of paces, I guess, a little bit as well. She outpaced them all. All right, we're going to go for an ad break now. Thank you so much for joining us for the ASICS half marathon. We've brought home some champions. There's more coming across the line now. We'll see you shortly.
Training program, week 3, day 4. Training program, week 5, day 2.
Week 6, day 4.
I feel a strong connection.
It echoes in your mind.
It's like you feel the energy in return.
It pushes you forward. You sense its power.
As you exceed your limits.
At the finish line of the ASICS Half Marathon. It's day 1 of the Village Roadshow Theme Parks Gold Coast Marathon. And that's right, we've got the half marathon on the Saturday this year. Tomorrow morning we will have the marathon distance race, and it's great to be here with Benita, and we had Rob De Castilla a moment ago. What a morning we've had, and we're seeing more and more finishes streaming through. These are scenes we just have been starved of for the last couple of years, but finally we're back, and we've crowned our winners for 2022, and we're crowning some more finishes coming through here. Benita, exciting scenes.
Oh yeah, it's been great, Robbo, and just seeing the amount of finishes streaming through here, and we can see the pacemakers as well with those little blue balloons.
Yes.
And you know, Pat Carroll does a great job with setting up all the pacemakers for all the races here across the weekend. So you know, it's been great for these runners to have these pacemakers and to be able to stick with these groups. But you know, we know how they're feeling here. They're almost at the finish. They're running past the team tents and they're hurting. I mean, a lot of people they'll be hurting immensely.
It looks a bit like they're running uphill there, folks, but don't be deceived. That is from memory, that's pretty flat, isn't it, Benita?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it's one of the great things of the events. The hashtag is good times, and that's the theme of the event. And so many good times are run just because you're surrounded by other runners. There's a big pack, no matter what pace you're running, unless you're Eloise Wellings and running, 70, 71 minutes, you're probably on your own for the back bit of it. But so many of these runners will have had a group that they could run with and work together and, achieve success and achieve PBs. And it's just that, there's that little bit of magic. I've always said it, there's that bit of magic in the air here up at the Gold Coast.
And look, we're seeing finish times here of, in the low 120s, and you've got to be a good runner to be able to run in the low 120s, Robbo. And, all these people, they've got full-time jobs and they have all different sorts of training programs, but they've done a lot of training to get to this point to be running this fast at really the top end of the field as well. So,
exactly. These are our top few hundred runners out of 8,000 or 9,000 runners. So these, tremendous effort here. Steve Monaghetti, will give him a shout out. He's come through in 1 hour 14:42, which we're going to give him the gold medal in the veteran men's 55 to 59 age group. I think you're telling me, Benita, he's stepping up in age group next year. So looking to put an assault on some of the records, I'm sure, in that new age category. But yeah, great run by Mona. Hopefully he pulls up okay, and his voice is good. He's ready for a big stint in the commentary box tomorrow as we bring you the marathon. But he's still got a bit of toe about him, old Mona.
Oh, I'll tell you what, he's getting ready for that new age group, Robbo. I think he's training up this year, and next year he's going to go for some records in a span of about a year. So when he's at the bottom end of the race,
we'll get a blow-by-blow account of it for the first half an hour of tomorrow's coverage. So tune in from 5:30 tomorrow. But look, great scenes here. A lot of the clubs represented across the Gold Coast, Queensland, but all across Australia as well. All the different strips, and first-timers, seasoned campaigners, legends. There'll be people who have run 10, 20, 30 of these events up here at the Gold Coast, all getting a taste of the pain and the ecstasy of the half marathon as we see the pace balloon coming across here. So that's our 84-minute pacing group. Paced beautifully, 20 seconds to spare. It's an important job, that pace group, and big thanks again to Pat Carroll and his crew for organising that. It really does give you that extra bit of support. It's a team event, running. It's an individual activity, but it is very much a team event. You can see the camaraderie that you get from helping others achieve their goals, and that pace runner, congrats to him and to all of them. But what a satisfying way to spend your Saturday morning.
Oh, for sure, Robbo. And look how he's congratulating everyone that's coming through in that group. And they do disperse a bit in the last few K when they get a bit tired. But, to set up the race with these pacemakers really does help everyone in the field. And, it just helps you with being able to relax a bit in the first 15K especially. So, yeah, that's been really great to see.
So we saw your fellow ambassador, Steve Monaghetti, coming through in 1:14. Do you think Pat Carroll, the other ambassador out on course, is looking good to get under 150.
Look, I hope
should
so,
be right.
Robbo. Yeah, I hope so. You know, but he said he did a 14k run the other day about 150 pace, and he was hammered. So you know, so I don't know. Yeah,
He might be getting dragged across the line. So unfortunately, the coverage won't last long enough to see what happens. But stay tuned on the results, and make sure you go onto the Gold Coast Marathon website to get the live results. I'm accessing them here myself at the moment. All the details are up there. And here are some highlights of our morning. We started with Bonza. We thought it was Mona in there, but it turns out he was running. Bonza got us warmed up, and it was wet and rainy at the start, but then it all cleared. It all cleared, and Benita, it was great to see. Just watch this start here again. We did see someone go down.
Yeah, and I feel like it was Jess right on the start line, which is it's something.
Yeah, she's had a trip there. So
very unfortunate when that happens, and she got up quickly though.
Yep. Yeah, so that's even more impressive, the fact that she's been able to overcome that little stumble early in the race. Our fans out on course here with the signs, with the cheers, they really do help add to the vibrancy and the atmosphere of the event. And thousands, what did it take them? 10.5 minutes to cross the start line to get all our runners over and out on course this morning, in the dark this morning. But, you know, super exciting to get everyone away. You can see them all hitting their polar heart rate monitors, getting them underway.
And we know Brett Robinson was talking about the conditions were actually quite nice. So, you know, there was all this talk about, you know, a lot of rain, but he said it was really nice. So, you know, I think we're going to see a lot of PBs. And looking at this elite men's field as well, Liam Adams really took it to everyone, probably in the first 12k or so, and then Brett Robinson made his move, and you know, that move was to the finish. So we saw two very good races.
A lot of respect for Liam. Yeah, as we said, was out in front, almost time trialling the first half of the race, and that probably did burn his reserves a little bit. He's finished off the podium in the end, but you know, a great hit out for Liam ahead of his big race coming up over at Birmingham for the Commonwealth Games. Ed Goddard right up there as well. He is 24 years old. He's a big future. I feel like we'll be saying his name at these events for many years to come as we see the running tradie. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we find out he had a bit of a cough or something going on. I don't think he's pumping himself up there. I think he's trying to clear his chest. But this was the scene we had in the women's race for many kilometres. Jess and Eloise and a group of pacers guiding them through. And then before long, we would see the pace increase from one of these runners. And Brett Robinson was in a mood, and the crowd was ready to welcome our runners home. They were excited, some of them getting warmed up for their marathon tomorrow, but here was Jess holding on. She's still looking comfortable there in front of Eloise.
And there's a crowd again, Robbo, and we know, you know, if anyone's got a sign out there, we know there's some prizes for the best signs.
Yes.
So I think we've seen a few cool signs out on the course, and we saw them in previous pictures.
This was the move. Brett Robinson, it took a matter of 20 or 30 seconds and he had a 20, 30 metre lead. Eloise did something similar only minutes later, and she was on her own and heading for the finish line, and it was up to all these other fellas around Eloise to see if they could hang on. No one could. And here's Robinson just looking so relaxed, as we had Deke on the coverage just describing Eloise and Robbo's form. So relaxed, and when you're that relaxed and you're that capable and comfortable, that's how it looks at the finish line. He was high-fiving the crowd coming through the finish chute, and Eloise Wellings lighting up that finish line with her trademark smile.
Yeah, pulling her hat off, and she's just really excited. And you know, she knows that when she gets on that plane to Birmingham Commonwealth Games, she's in shape and she's ready to go. And you know, this is proof of that.
She can put the seat back, you know, when she gets on that plane and be satisfied. And Jess exactly the same. You know, great respect. Two of our all-time great runners, and you know, what a battle they had. So yeah, we've had a treat here this morning, and thanks, Benita, for your help in helping describe what we've seen. It's been great to have your input on and help cheer them on.
Thanks, Robbo, and look, I've really enjoyed it, and we've missed it so much. So it's just so good to be back and to be calling these sort of races and seeing these sort of athletes, but all across the whole field. You know, seeing. I mean, we'd love to see people finish that run, you know, 3 hours, but we're not going to have that coverage. But, you know, it's going to be great to go over there and have a look at the finish line now.
Yeah, it will. And look, we'll put our feet up and we'll go and cheer some more runners home. And on behalf of all the Gold Coast Marathon crew, good luck with your marathon coming up as well. And we look forward to seeing you back here again. And look, folks, hopefully no more interruptions. This is us for the next 42 years, uninterrupted, here at the Village Roadshow Theme Parks Gold Coast Marathon. It's been an absolute treat to bring the footage to you this morning. It's only day one, That was the ASICS Half Marathon. Marathon morning tomorrow. Don't miss out. From 5:30 tomorrow, we'll be here ready to bring you the action. But Benita, it's been a privilege. Thank you again. Happy running to everyone. We'll go out and cheer the rest of them on now. But yeah, a fantastic morning on the Gold Coast in Yugan Bear Country, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Bye.
Run. Run more. Run faster. Run stronger. Run hard. You better run.
The actions we take today will impact all of our tomorrows. Right now, Southern Cross University is applying new learnings to create the change needed in our world. We're helping transform healthcare, education, and our land. We're inspiring tomorrow's leaders and saving our oceans. Together, we're transforming tomorrow. Southern Cross University.
At CPL, choice, passion, life. We believe every person with disability should have the support to live the life they choose. No matter your NDIS goals, life stage, or support needs, CPL will be by your side. Visit us at cpl.org.au and start chasing the life you want. CPL. Choice, passion, life.